This is a guide how to buy vintage Grand Seiko. It took me many months to figure all this out, to find all this information online, and I'm gonna show it to you in this short 10-minute video. So you will be able to buy a watch which is not fake, and you will be able to avoid redials. So these watches you will not be able to buy on sites kind of like Analog Shift that they do work for you and they charge you for that. These watches are very rare. Most of them are located in Japan, so you will probably end up buying on eBay from Japanese seller. You should still look at like Chrono 24, Watch Recon, but you're probably gonna buy it from Japanese seller because like they are mostly located, physically located in the Japan. So you will have to do your research and your work. So that's why there is this video. So the good news is that these watches are very well documented. So two main resources that you should know about is the grandseikoguy.com. So this is a guy in Dubai. He's pretty much #1 Grand Seiko collector in the world. He built this amazing website. He has every single model of Grand Seikos documented and with high-res pictures. Go there, you use his site. Also Seiko Busters Instagram account. So he has a lot of rules how to spot fake Seiko parts, Seiko watches. A lot of it applies to Grand Seiko, and I will be talking about it here. So when you so how do you start? So basically you picked some watch that you want to buy, so you start with part numbers. So the dial code is over here. Now the case code, the case part number is over here, and if you open it, you will see a movement code. So what you do is you go to the grandseikoguy.com, you find the model that you are trying to buy, let's say on eBay. You get all these codes and you make sure that the codes match, right? If they don't match, then something's wrong, you stay away. Another thing that you should very quickly check, most of these Grand Seikos, they have either Suwa or Daini logo here, and they also have Suwa or Daini logo over here. The logos should match. Like if this one says Suwa, this one says Daini, then this is there's something wrong with this watch. If they match, it's good. Okay, there is another thing that you also so you cannot do. So this one is Daini, but a lot of them are Suwa. So Suwa logo should look like there is like a little circle inside. So if there is a redial, then they usually don't get the Suwa logo right. For some reason, it's very hard for them. So go to Seiko Busters account. He has like bunch of rules about the little logo. So read about it. So this one is Daini. Honestly, I saw redial Daini logo, and it was fine. I wasn't able to figure it out. But Suwa is a good one. Okay, now the biggest problems with these watches are on the dial. So there are like bunch of redials, there are a bunch of old redials, because these are, I mean, these are luxury items, so owners didn't mind paying for the redials, so their watch doesn't have patina, right? So they give it to watchmaker redials it, and now it's not a thing anymore. Also there are a bunch of new redials. People just want to get more money for them, so pay the most attention on the dial. Go to the grandseikoguy.com, find how the real thing is supposed to look like. Go to the watch that you are trying to buy, check all this, like in this, basically everything on this dial, check against the real thing. And so see, for example, like this one is a little bolder than this one. Check that what you are buying is exactly like the real thing looks like. Now, easy giveaways. The most problems on redials I saw on this like bottom part. So the watch that you are buying should have this bottom part in high resolution. You should be so here you don't see everything that well, but on your on the pictures of the watch that you are buying, you should see exactly like all these things. Now, very important, is this writing below the markers or above the markers, right? I saw a bunch of redials that redialed it above the markers. Does this Japan start at the right place? So here it starts between like minute 34 and 33, and it ends it goes all the way almost to 32, and so on, and everything, all this like rest of this. Be very so this is the main giveaway, but you should check the whole thing. There is also this rule from seikobusters.com. That's something that you should be able to spot most of the redials very easily, but you should check everything. So there is a code here. So basically it says either T or R. Yeah, I don't know if you see it, maybe. So T or R. So if your dial is a T dial, then in the word Japan, Ace should have flat tops. If your dial is R dial, so there is R there, then Ace should have a pointy tops. So basically, so there's a T dial. If my Japan would be with pointy tops, then I would immediately know that that's a redial. Okay, so that's on redials. Spend most of your time on a dial. Other things, crown. So so this is signed crown. Sometimes for the model that you are buying, maybe it should be signed W or something else. So don't just check that this is Grand Seiko, just check that that's the correct crown for the model that you are buying. Crystal, so check that the crystal is original. It's okay if you have a good replacement, just make sure it's not. So I saw some replacements that are domed crystals. They look very wrong, and they kind of the watch loses its beauty. So it's good. So this one is original one, you can see on the grandseikoguide.com. But yeah, at least replace it. If you have to replace it with the flat crystal. Now hands, yeah, pay attention to hands. So like for example, these ones for this model, they should have this black line in the middle. So make sure, like if you would buy this one, that the line is there, the shape is correct, the length is correct, everything. Now check the case back. Usually case back is all right. Still check it. Check that in which shape the medallion is on, if you like it, if you can live with it. Now polishing. So these watches lose their beauty if they are over polished. So basically, so see, like this, I can cut myself how sharp this part is. If they are polished, if this looks more like a pebble, then they lose their beauty. And there is another one, make sure, so some parts supposed to be brushed polishing, some parts supposed to be mirror polishing. So if somebody mirror polishes the parts that's supposed to be brushed, then this watch loses its beauty. Be very careful about polishing. Now make sure you saw the movement. Now there is one thing about these watches, that Seiko does not make parts for these watches anymore. So make sure that movement is in good state, that it can be serviced. Like if it needs parts, then you're screwed. You can send this watch to Seiko and they gonna service it in Japan. It's gonna cost you, I think, about $500. So I don't know if what they would do, like if the part needs a replacement and they don't make that part anymore. I don't know if anybody knows. Let me know what's gonna happen with this. So I wanted to buy a watch which, like I say, is in perfect condition. The movement is in perfect condition. That works great. Okay, thank you for watching this video. If you have questions or corrections or anything, please post them in comments. Thank you.